Hello and welcome to Sheepdog Says. I'm Sheepdog, and today I wish I could say I was going to learn my lesson, but I'm going to put the pen down. I don't think I ever will. And at the moment, I don't normally do this, but before the video, I asked my sister to give me examples of times when I thought I knew best and it backfired, or I thought I knew what I was doing and it backfired, or I didn't read the instructions and it backfired. And it's distracting me a little bit at the moment now because above the camera on my phone, it's popping up with messages from her reminding me of... I just thought she'd go, oh yeah, these two are funny. But every time she thinks she's done the list, she's finding more. Now what triggered me asking this, and this isn't a Pokemon Go episode, I promise, but what triggered me was I went out to do some raids with my son, and the whole internet has said when you get to this certain point in the Mew quests, you just have to fail the raids 10 times. It counts as 10 raids you've done, and then you move on to the next bit. So I sit us both down in the car. I start the raids. We're there for an hour, the longest hour of my life, just going through these raids. Mine's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 out of 10, done. My son, bless him, I'm in control of his phone. I've said to him, you don't want your good Pokemon getting hit while I'm trying to avoid the raids. I'm going to put in bad Pokemon that are already quite hurt. And then that way, if they die, it doesn't matter. But you'll still have your strong ones saved. It's to preserve your items. He keeps asking me every time, please just put a good set in. I want to see a good set in. He really wanted it. You know, I don't know why he wanted it, but he just did. He really wanted it. But I knew best. I knew if I put injured ones in, then it would just save him reviving them. It would save him healing them. It would be a good tactic. We get to the end. I've got 10 out of 10 raids. He's mysteriously only got 1 out of 10. That shouldn't have happened. Everyone's wondering why that's happened. It seems like a bug. It seems like a problem in the game. I look online, and apparently there is a kind of bug that if you go in with a team that's not 100% healthy, then it doesn't count. Now, I wish I'd known that 3 hours ago, because now, bless him, he's got to go and do another, I think it's 8 raids in the end, because we went and did another one. I don't know whether they've changed the rules in the past hour as well. There's a thread on Reddit about it where people are up in arms. And I'm thinking, man, I wish I'd known this, because I may have just made it so that he won't get his now for another 7 days, whereas I'm ready to get mine tomorrow. And it just made me think, sometimes, like in that instance, it wasn't my decision that backfired exactly. I wish I hadn't done it, because it wouldn't have hurt him, but I had no way of knowing. But it did make me think there are loads of times in life where if I just read the instructions, if I'd just done a bit of research, if I just looked, it wouldn't have gone wrong. Now, the earliest time I can remember, my sister's literally just come up with one on my phone saying when I was young, so this is earlier than the one I remembered, when I was young, I just put my hand flat on an iron. I'm sure lots of kids have done that growing up. That was a dumb thing to do. I remember burning myself. I don't know why I did it, but that's more of a kid being stupid instinct thing. But I remember being in year, I think it was 5, and my teacher did a test where question 1 said, write your name at the top of the paper, put the pencil down, and wait to be told what to do next. Question 2 said, draw a line in the corner. Question 3 said, flip the paper over and draw a dog, whatever. And it went on for like 20 questions. Now, I wasn't the only one who fell for this, but in our class of 30, I think one student wrote her name at the top of the sheet, put the pencil down and sat. The rest of us scribbled through, tried to get to the end, sat all confidently thinking, I've got 20 out of 20 here. And then the teacher said, right, hand them in. And then literally said, one of you got it right, stand up, well done, here's a prize, the rest of you are idiots. Now, everyone else in my class, I reckon, probably learned their lesson there and then. Read instructions, follow instructions, job done. But I didn't. I remember the test really well. I remember the moral. I remember that, yeah, instructions are important, but my dad still says to me now, you didn't read the instructions, did you? And most of the time, the answer is no, because I like to feel my way through, like a blind man at an orgy. I should be keeping his PC. I'm sorry to anyone offended by that. instinctively think I know what I'm doing, and most of the time that's okay. It doesn't backfire often. But then sometimes on the fly, I think I know what I should do, or I decide that's a good idea to do. For example, I was on my driving test 2 years back now, and I'm coming up a side road. I look behind me in the side mirror. The road's clear, so I think I don't want to risk going all the way down this slip road and then a car appearing and I panic and cause a problem. So I'm just going to whoop right angle onto the road. Just, I've checked, it's clear, off I go, over the lines. I then suddenly thought that was probably really unsafe. I shouldn't have done that. There's probably some sort of rule that means I shouldn't have done that. And so while I'm thinking about that, I kind of went through a sign a little bit. I think I was going like 42 at a 40 or whatever. When I got back, I did the rest of the test, got back, and he said to me, you did everything perfectly except for that slip road where for no reason whatsoever, you just decided to just go whoop and slide the car sideways onto the road rather than driving forward and then joining the road politely and cleverly. And he said, I'm sorry, but I have to fail you. But he said, you did the 3-point turn perfectly, the parallel park perfectly, you drove around perfectly, you were in control. He said, you stalled the car a lot at first. And he said, I would have failed you if you'd stalled a few more times, but, you know, that was nerves, it was your first test. He said, but if you hadn't have done that, I think you'd have been fine. And I was mortified, because that's just me. That's just me thinking, I know, this will work, brilliant. And that's exactly what's happened with this Pokemon Go thing today. I also make assumptions. Like my sister said to me one time, come and see this band at Reading Festival with me. You'll love them. They're right up your street. I know you'll like them. They're a great band. We really like them. They're the style of music you like. Just generally, she thought it would be something I'd enjoy. I said to her, no, not interested. You listen to bad music. I'm not interested in your taste in music. I know best. I'm older than you and all of this nonsense. And I really just fobbed her off, not interested. And then a friend of mine introduced me to this band, Coheed and Cambria. And I was listening to them religiously and got really into them. And then I mentioned to her that I was really into them and she just lost it. Like, I told you to go and see them. I said you would like them. I told you they'd be an awesome band. And you told me to get lost. And for years, they were my absolute favourite band. I went and saw, I've seen them live, like, I don't know, it's over 10 times. I went on my own to this gig they did in London where they'd play they played an album a day over 5 days. And I went to every one of them. And I went to a private, like, small gathering one where there was only 80 people in the crowd at the Barfly in Camden, standing at the front. I had to be given earplugs to listen to them up front because I got so close that was it. Side note on that, I met somebody about a year later who was at that gig, and I was telling her that while the band were playing, I shouted out, like, play whatever the name of the song was. It was a new song that had only just been leaked on the internet about, like, 2 days before. And they went off stage in a little break and come back on, and then they were playing their songs and I'm shouting out, play whatever. And then when I was at the gig, I was at a convention about 6 months to a year later, and this girl I was wearing a t-shirt from the gig, and this girl said, oh, I was there too. She said, did you hear about the guys who kept shouting for that song to be played, whatever it was called? And I was like, yeah, I was one of them. And she said, oh, they came off midway through because they didn't know it had leaked onto the internet. They didn't know anyone had heard it. And you guys shouting out the name of the song made them panic. They had to decide what to do and whether to sort of have a go at everyone for knowing about it, or, who had leaked it. And it caused them to have a bit of a crisis as a band. I mean, I mentioned in my last video with Go Betty Go, I seem to have this thing with bands. But it's another example. I thought I knew best. I thought I knew what I liked. I'd like to think I'm starting to get better at listening to reason and listening to people's advice and thoughts. But every now and again, something just happens and it just makes me look and feel like an idiot. I had a thing where, going back, my dad always mocked me about reading instructions. I remember moving out and I had a lot of clothes. I had a lot of t-shirts for bands. I had a lot of jeans. I had a lot of just general bits and pieces that I wore. And I didn't really know how to do the washing. I was 18. I remember putting them all in for a wash. and everything coming out a weird purpley colour. And I still tried to wear some of them for a while, but generally the first few times I washed them, I just wrecked everything I owned. And it's one of those things I've never really recovered from. Like, if you imagine just wrecking every item of every pair of trousers you own, I've kind of brought new ones over the years, but I look back at that and think, there was a point when I must have only owned about 2 pairs of jeans and I was just washing them constantly. And again, that wrecks them. But if I'd have just read the instructions or learned how to wash, it would have been fine. But being a stupid like teenager, I just never needed to. I just never felt the need to, and I completely ballsed things up. I've asked my wife for examples, but she's kind of said, "Oh, there's too many to count." I just don't check things out. I figure I'll get it on the fly. I'm gonna wrap it up because it's a bit of a random one. It's a bit of a loose topic, I know, but I'm so disappointed tonight. The amount of time. Yesterday I spent 3 hours trying to find this ditto for my son. Today I've spent 2 hours in total trying to get him this raid thing. I feel like when he catches this Mew next week, it better be a shiny 100% perfect one, and he better be the happiest kid in the world. Because what I can see happening is him catching it and going, "All right, brilliant. We're gonna go somewhere. What's happening?" And he's gonna be really blasé about it. Whereas I'm thinking if we'd have done it tonight, it'd have been absolutely chuffed. I mean, he's been saying we have to do it together, and then tonight he said, "You do it tomorrow with me." Like he's got to be there, but he's happy for me to catch it tomorrow. So I'll add a little footnote in tomorrow, hopefully, that I've done it. But I just wish I'd listened to him, because I'm worried now. What's going through my head is that I've kind of broken it for him by doing it the way I did it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gutted. I'm tired again. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. I have got a rant lined up for some point in the next couple of days about my bank. I'm just piecing it together because I don't want to get in trouble with that one. But they're doing my head in, and I feel like I need a campaign there. Yeah. Just let me know how you're getting on with your bits. Let me know if there's ever been any times where you've just not listened, you've not followed instructions. I mean, when I was at uni, I used to turn up on days when they'd told us it was shut, and I'm sure that happens to lots of people, but it happened to me too often. I'd turn up for days when we had exams and not know we had them. I've got better at that, but I was very disorganised, and it's taken a lot of time. I think I've just been behind the curve on these things. But yeah, today takes a biscuit. I need to read more and learn more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.